We'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Brandhorst, would you do the invocation, please?
Yes. Will everybody stand, please? We're going to start the meeting today with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll do the roll call.
Commissioner LeBlanc present.
Commissioner Brandhorst present.
Commissioner Gardner is present.
Commissioner Gleason present.
Commissioner Becker present.
Thank you. And we'll note that our attorney is calling in tonight. Okay, do we have any citizen participation? No? Mr. Slavin?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ed Slavin, box 3084. Good to see y'all again. Just one suggestion. I had talked to Scott earlier this afternoon, and he sent me some documents. And I'd like to ask that perhaps in our next meeting, we have a discussion about internal controls at the Mosquito Control District. I think they're really important these days to protect government resources from fraud. There are fraud feasors out there, and we need to be careful. And I know our county wouldn't provide me the information that Scott just provided on short notice. I asked St. Johns County for their list of their internal controls at the Board of County Commissioners. I still haven't gotten it yet. And that's the kind of cooperation we get from our one-party rule BOCC. But I pointed out to them over the years, $786,785 in embezzlement in the Sheriff's Department over 5 years. Because one person was in charge of everything, and she was stealing. We just need to be careful on internal controls. We need to set the standard, and I think we have in AMCD over the years. I think AMCD has set the standard for St. Johns County. And I always tell people that we learned from that helicopter experience. And thank God for Jeannie Moeller and John Sunderman. We were 9 months at the Mosquito Control Board, coming back month after month after month. And finally, the board voted unanimously to cancel a no-bid purchase of a $1.8 million helicopter. But folks in St. Johns County learned a lot about our governments, and in terms of comparing and contrasting this board versus the Board of County Commissioners. And I remember fondly talking to my mom, who was in purchasing for years and years, about the helicopter purchase back in 05, 06, 07 timeframe. She was in purchasing at a county college in New Jersey, and I said, Mom, would you buy a helicopter without competitive bidding? No way, son. And the right thing happened. We're saving money. We're saving lives. Mosquito control has, if I understand correctly, reduced the use of organophosphate poisons by like 80 or 90% since the turn of the century. And we're saving lives. And I think this district is an example for the world. We've got scientists coming here and postdocs from all over the world. So keep up the good work, and let's have a discussion next month about internal controls and how they can be improved. And of course, our former sheriff, $786,785 in embezzlement right under his nose. Anyway, but if anything like that happens here, I know we're going to blow the whistle. And you're not going to put up with that kind of stuff. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else like to speak? No? All right. I'll call for approval of the agenda.
I have a question.
Yes?
The auditor renewal letter.
Uh-huh.
we pull that
No,
out?
okay, we're calling for the approval of,
Yep,
okay. You want to
just move it to.
unfinished business?
Yeah, it's unfinished, yeah.
All right, so number 3 is moved to,
Well, wouldn't it be new business?
It's a new business? Yeah, because we haven't even discussed it yet.
Okay.
New business.
all right.
3.
Any other changes? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent
All right,
Second.
as modified.
as modified, okay?
Second.
Commissioner Brandhurst seconds. All in favor? No one
Aye.
opposed? Okay. All right. Dr. Shu?
I apologize. Did we approve the agenda?
Oh, we haven't approved
No,
the
we
agenda.
haven't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, which one?
Okay. Can I have approval of the agenda first?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? All right. No one opposed? All right. We didn't do it in order, but we did it, so I guess we're okay, huh?
Yeah, I'll just switch it in the minutes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Dr. Shu?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, we hold the education community to June 17. The purpose is to prepare for open house. Also, we mix up with the National Mosquito Control Awareness Week. So this year, always the last week of June. This year, the Saturday in middle of that. Is whatever we did lots of work, and the Commissioner Baker host the meeting. Also, we have lucky we have a school board and deputy superintendent and Dr. Brian and Asper coming during the meeting. We try to have more cooperation with the school board, especially for some kind of our disease vector education center. Also, cooperation looking for chance for any possible for grant application for education for school children. So the meeting was it's very short and sweet. We have the minutes, we have our information, and after that we surrounded upon the video and Facebook and all social media. Also, Dr. Paul went to radio station and gave talking about the prevention during summertime, prevention for mosquito biting, also our open house, also our disease vector education center open hour. So that's the order to call out to agency submit some information. So we daily about 100 people visited, and in past 4 weeks, in June, so we have over 2,200 visitors. So it's about 1,500 students, about 700 adults. So every day is busy. The parking lot is also full. Like yesterday, looking for parking lot. Yesterday, is more people. Then we have 2 full-time. One is seasonal full-time. Now we can today start another seasonal full-time. Try to handle the deal with the crowd. Currently, summertime, it's no school. It's a very good place for children. Some in the winter for open, coming here 9:30, and the playground, the children play, winter 10 o'clock open, get in. This is we, in future, next couple of months, we start discussion about it. Should we collect the tickets or not, and how much we're specific discussion. Also, the school board deputy superintendent willing to join the community. Also, we have the state DEP, Department Environmental Protection Agency, the Guangna Education Center director. We had a meeting with them, so they're willing to join the community. So now they're talking to Lincoln Museum, so they can, some director can join the community, how they run their business. Some representative from state government, representative from local business, and representative different. We contacted with the tourist agents, and Heather and I wrote an email, phone call, left a message. So far, nobody responds. We contacted 3 people. One's Ponte Vedra, the tourist development agents. That's before the Richard Goldman retired, they was called Susan, something their name. Has people leave a message, not call back. Also, Xinjiang County, they have to towards the development, some kind of officer. We send email and call left message, they have not get it back. So we would like to look lesson from local the community, government, business, and we try to make the right decision, make the right recommendation to the board of future for make decision. That's education, and the Commissioner Baker was give more information about that. So the research committee was held research committee. It's 19, and the commission research chair didn't show up sick, so that we have lucky have that visitor scientist Dr. Neil was his last day. He spent 3 months gave a research project about chocolate sugar base, how affect our elephant mosquito. So he keep a real record on that and in the education center. So they found this, the results, they can forecast as toxic sugar base still affected, but not like a mosquito. They can kill mosquito 100%, but kill this big one around 90%, not 1%. Yeah, it's a big, yeah. So that we worry about this because we're going to use vegetation air treatment around the cemetery and neighborhood. Sometimes you can see the toxicity predator mosquito. People worry it will kill the beneficial the insect. Now we have to look at what's happening. The same as the kill too, but it's depending on how to use amount. Yeah. So other thing that from University of Florida and the Florida Medical Entomology Laboratory, Dr. Lee and his student come and join the research meeting and share information. They try to submit a grant for NSF, National Science Foundation, and something they want we to be part of their support cooperation for education or the evaluation of our public education. So she brought 2 graduate students, 1 PhD student work with us, studied more than 2 weeks, collect mosquito for resistant test. 1 is a master's degree student, she's a specialist for education, public education, and outreach. And interesting, during March meeting, she come and join the meeting, they come back with her mentor to meeting our staff and try to have more cooperation. Then tomorrow, the Vero Beach has the University of Florida, FMEL, Florida Medical Entomology Laboratory has what kind of activity, public outreach, and they invite her, she will be leaving this afternoon, study there tomorrow, join there, learning from there how to conduct public education, make it more useful. So this is the research. We update our current grant situation. We only submitted, corporation submitted 3, only had 1 University of Central Florida collaboration grant that for looking for new technology for surveillance, and Dr. Steve Pepperson part of that. So I was 2 University of Florida professionals submit, 1 for bumblebee, no target impact, we didn't get funding. Another one was the Winton Laboratory for environmental DNA, test the mosquito species and the virus. So it's too big that didn't get funding. That's currently our funding, most is funding from industry. We just finished 1 Sumitomo Japan, that's a big chemical company. So we tested for repellents, so that they pay for, also other several companies pay for the testing. Most are applied research and the prototype and the new formulation, tracking and the repellents and the larvicide. So they depend on what they need. Use our facility, run the test, use our knowledge, help the test. But nothing free, they have to pay for. So they pay for our labor, pay for our facility. That's the, also during this time we get learning and get a new technology. It's a win-win situation. So there's an annual, we through industry, we collect about $300,000 to $400,000 revenue. So that's the support our program, hire more intern students and temporary seasonal employee to help the business program. That's basically the information there. Thank you. The Education Commissioner Baker.
Well, we had a great meeting, and Dr. Aspen was really interested in what we were doing. We didn't even get to show him a tour of the facility because our meeting went a little bit long, but
Okay.
he was really interested, and he was really impressed by how many interns we've brought in to the point where we're maxed out. We have like people waiting to come and intern. So it shows what a good effort that Dr. Qualls and the entire team have made in the internship. If like high school students are like, I can't wait to spend the summer at mosquito control, like we're doing something good. So we talked about bringing more of the teachers to, have visits and see, we're not only just mosquito technicians, we also have other things in the house, finance and different aspects that people don't really understand that we might have, our mechanics. And Dana has really been phenomenal in outreach with other aerial programs and students and just really anyone that wants to get interested in any kind of planes or helicopters and try to come and give them the experience in the hours. So he's doing a really great job with that. And the school district is pretty excited about what we have going on now that the stuff has calmed down and people are seeing it. Like Dr. Shu said, we had 1,000 people all of last year, and just in the past month, we've had 2,000 visitors. So that says a lot. And when I walked in today, the girl was there yesterday and then came back today with more of her friends. So we're doing good. We're on the right track.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Is there any way the Education Committee can look at doing a business case analysis on the 501c3? Because I've been doing some research and we can probably get more grant funding directly for that facility if we were 501c3. And so basically, if we could do a cost-benefit analysis of setting up the education center as a 501c3, it would open a lot more grant opportunities for us. And because we kept telling the taxpayers that it would not be run on taxpayer money. So I'm not saying go do it. I'm just saying, can you guys do the analysis as to what it would take and would the revenue that we would get offset whatever costs?
We did do that some years back when we first started talking, but I think that's something that we could bring back again. It's been many years.
Because Wayne Flowers, our former attorney, he volunteered to guide us through that because he's done it for other districts. So,
Ms. Myers, do you have a comment on that? Hello?
I'm sorry,
Do
I didn't
you,
hear the question.
oh, we were discussing the possibility of doing a 501c3, researching the pros and cons of doing that. Is that something that you have a comment on?
I understood that it was a request of the Education Committee to do just a practical cost budget analysis. I don't have any legal opinions. If you decide you want to do it, I also am in a position to help you accomplish that.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay. Is anybody?
so is that a yes?
Well, that was not a no. Okay. Any other
Yeah,
comments?
I'm just.
We could look into it, yeah. I mean, it's been a while,
Like give away-
and we could get grants now that we don't have the word museum. We lost out on millions of dollars, so we could bring them in with the 501 maybe.
There you go. All right. Mr. Hannah?
Good evening, Scott Hanna, Anastasia's Mosquito Control District CFO. Going to go over the treasurer's report. Actually, I'll just do it in round numbers. So if you look at the treasurer's report, the first thing you see is the Wells Fargo operating account, and that's the registered balance, which is $1,452,386. That one, I'm giving you the exact number. It's below the 1.5 because that's the register balance. That's what we show with us actually initiating payments out of the account. So for the bank balance, it actually comes out to 1.5 if you look at the bank balance when it's reconciled. There's a bank balance and a register balance. So our check register balance is the 1.452. Then the next one is the sweep account. That's 4.4 million in round numbers. As more money keeps growing in those accounts, they will go down as mosquito season approaches and we start using more money for operations and chemicals. And then the next one is the Florida Prime. We have not put anything new into that ever since the sweep account was created. So that's 5.8. And the only reason that's growing is it's growing by the return on investment. The Bank of America, that's an e-pay bill pay account. That's 411,268. So the total cash in the bank at the end of June is 12,177,484.72. And then the next area shows the breakdown of income stream for the month. You've got tax levies, 476,709, which actually that puts us. I just looked at today. We've got actually $156,270 over the budgeted revenues for taxes. So we've actually pulled in 101.9% of what we budgeted is what we've got year to date right now. So we've gotten everything we've budgeted, not necessarily everything we've levied, because you'd have to convert that to 95% of 101, would be like, I think 96% of the levy is what we've actually collected. But we've got an extra 156,270 in what we budgeted. And then next thing is the SBA, Florida Prime. That's bringing in a higher APR year-to-date return on investment of 5.49. And that for that 1 month is 26,427.83. Next one, which is slightly lower, return on investment percentage, is the Wells Fargo Stagecoach the sweep account, and that brought in 21,782, and that's 5.18%. If you did it annualized. Next one is donations. We actually are getting people putting in some donations in the little plastic box, and that's $130. We did just do another deposit of like 170 the other day for July so far.
So when you divide 2,000 people, visitors in the month of what was it,
Oh,
Last one.
last month? Then you've got $130 in donations.
yeah.
That's easy budget. I'm like, come on.
There could be some different
You need to get your
psychological
friends from
factors in
Pasadena
there.
to come
No,
down.
I'm just like, apparently you're having
Yeah.
tourists come through. They
There's-
couldn't
there's-
drop $5.
Because it's new, there might be a different psychology on how they invest. And,
How is that? Is it displayed? Is it prominently displayed, that box?
I don't think we,
It's right when you walk in.
Do people see it? Like, is it like?
It's not
something
flashing.
Like a sign that says, we would love your donations, yeah.
It's just a very,
There's a box there. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, museums all over Washington were like, they had their box.
yeah,
No.
You couldn't miss those boxes.
if it were I and I saw it, I would throw money in it.
Yeah.
but you also have to have cash on you. I mean, you could
Yeah, that's
donate
true.
on, but then like
Get a
people
QR
have to go out of their
get a
way to
QR
do it or
get a
something.
QR
So people might not think it.
Get
No,
a
they can.
QR code.
Well, they can donate right at the register, but.
Yeah, that's true.
I would also just say that it's a lot of kids coming.
Oh, okay, so 2,000.
The majority,
kids, not
well,
2,000,
I mean, we
not
have it
2,000.
broken down. We could break it down by percentage, but
It was
many
700 something. I
Per
think,
capita
kids.
child
Yeah.
per adult
That's
ratio.
still a lot.
I brought, well, probably
1,502.
3 of them were mine. 2 or 3 of them were mine.
And the next line is grant money. That's 18,125, and that's a combination of FDACS, NACHO, and then Dr. Pauls did a consulting gig for $1,000. That's in there too. If she wants to give you any more detail, she can, but that was $1,000. I think she just snapped her fingers and just with her credentials, they gave her $1,000. I don't know, I couldn't.
Very kind of you.
Then the next thing is the DVEC center concessions. Brought in a whopping $1,425.45. So people are buying sodas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water probably too, so.
Whether they want to add any other things, that's debatable. And then below that, we've got the DVEC center income. You've got the 1 month, and then you've got the year-to-date. I did include the wages for Gen C and the benefits too. The year-to-date benefits do have the HSA, so that did make that large in the big scheme of things, because you've got the health savings account contribution, which is a $2,183. But,
Scott, can I ask you a question on that?
Sure.
Are we getting the offset from, I thought we were getting some monies from the district in New Orleans to pay for it?
Still work on. So
Still working
just
on
need
that?
a patience with government.
Okay, no MOU yet, still no MOU. Okay.
yeah,
So we should assume that for the rest of this fiscal year, we're probably going to be paying for that
I
salary,
said,
right?
Oh, yeah, it's,
That was almost
Okay.
2 weeks, we look at what's happening.
until we start charging
Can you provide
admission.
an update next month, like where we are with them? Is the city of New Orleans ever going to,
Yeah, I sent an
Agree
email
to sign
2 weeks,
anything?
2 days ago, sent an email to ask the director what's going on.
yeah, because we did that thinking that we were going to get the funding, and if they're not willing to sign an agreement, it's going to impact. I mean, it's not like a huge impact, but it is a big impact, because there's no offset.
Yeah. In the big scheme of things right now, that deficit number you see still has a big chunk of that's capital outlay.
Which I have a question for you on that.
Sure.
What's remaining of what was approved,
I
final approval?
I thought you might ask that, so I was ready. Think I pulled it. There's 200, including the humidifier,
Mhm.
there's 262,589.30. And both A, I, and Richard are all running a tally on that number and making sure that that we're all on the same page with that. I'm sorry, that was 262,589.30, and that includes the humidifier. I know we paid at least half of it. We did pay the whole thing? Okay, so that was with Stan Weaver, and the other company was, who was the other? Well, it's on here.
Climate Innovation, the last one.
Okay, so we paid for how much did the whole humidifier come, if you had ballpark?
About 46,000.
46,000, I think that's about what was budgeted.
And is
So
it,
the
is it
humidifiers
still-
pulled out of there.
Are we still on track to finish by the end of September?
So far, yes.
Yes. And we are keeping track of that number as it's getting closer. We're all going to talk, make sure that we don't go over.
Please don't.
Then I guess the next thing would be the budget amendment.
I think, Commissioner Becker.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm
Just
sorry.
before we move on from that,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the display maintenance, and I probably should ask Richard, but the 477, what exactly do we know? Is that like a display broken, we had to fix it, or that's just like
To get-
display stuff?
To get the detail on that one thing, I mean, we could go right into the database, or maybe Dr. Sheet, or we could click
I'll
on it
ask Richard, okay.
and see
I just
what it
didn't know.
is exactly, specifically. It's something that could either relate to a supply that's needed for maybe a display, or I don't think it's anything
Or the
broken.
bees or
I hadn't heard anything was broken yet.
No, there were some displays that were missing glass when I came through
Oh, okay.
last week. So it could be,
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
definitely anticipated and expected. And this whole next year is going to be a big learning curve for us to know what the costs to run this thing are going to be. We're going to learn.
And that's something we talked about in
So-
the education meeting, because like, giving little kids like sodas or something, and then they're running through and maybe spilling stuff, so we want to kind of,
I did inquire about that, and my understanding was that they buy the sodas as they're leaving. I don't know if they're buying them as they're coming in.
I would guess it's probably when they're leaving, or
Both.
when they go out to play, and then they come back in because they're thirsty and get a drink.
Oh, okay. I don't know if there's a no food or drink sign in there, but it's probably not a bad idea.
That's what we were
We should all,
talking
we could all
about, like,
discuss
pass.
that.
Yeah, we have
There's
a
signs, we have a
rules.
rule.
There's rules in
Oh, there
there.
is, okay, no food or drink inside.
Yeah, there's a number of rules.
Oh, okay. I should walk over there and have them, yeah, I need to get,
You should go walk it.
I do, I go in there.
Just not a rule follower.
Yeah, and learn the rules more. So the next thing is the budget amendment. And there was a lot of different parts and pieces because we brought in more revenue stream than anticipated. You can look at it, basically 224,000 additional revenue, and then we plugged it to areas that we thought could use an increased expenditure match in the past.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure, yeah.
We keep moving revenues that we make and then creating more spending,
Yeah.
for lack of better word. Can we just not spend just because we have it to spend?
Well, that's actually just budgeted, so we're not going to necessarily spend it. It's sitting in the budget, and at the end of the year, it'll be part of the ending fund balance, which will get carried over.
But I
So,
really don't want to give anybody the impression that they have that money to spend.
It doesn't spend.
It does.
Just by the Department of Agriculture requested
Yeah, but you could put it
revenue,
in,
your budget is there, doesn't
yeah,
mean
but
you
you
have
can
to
move it
spend.
into reserves. You don't have to move it into a
Well-
spending budget.
That's
Spending-
good point, let me check it, we check it with the
I-
taxpayer law.
Well, they also don't like if we have too
no,
many.
yeah, there's
Well,
rules on that
but
too.
just because you make money doesn't mean you spend money, because that's not our money.
Well, it is a wash because you're looking at increased revenues matching increased expenditures.
Yeah,
So-
but you're.
So it's actually zeroing, the number's zeroing out.
Yeah, but you're really not, because your revenues are increasing because you're earning interest. And now
Yeah,
you're saying that I have that interest to spend, and I'm putting it into a spending account. Honestly, that is not, for me, this is why
Yeah.
taxpayers hate government.
I,
They never get anything back, they
Yeah.
just get to spend it. So I honestly, on 65, I can see personnel services, but, you know, public, we're training, another 14,000, 71,000 for more capital. I mean, it's
actually-
getting a little serious.
Actually, that's the capital repairs and upgrades budget, which as we build more parts of this facility, we're gonna see more things break down, like there was an air conditioning unit that needed replaced, and so you've got big capital items that just need maintained or replaced.
I understand. So if you didn't move those dollars where you moved them, where are those accounts right now as a percent of the budget? So how much of those accounts have we spent so far?
Well, at the end of the year, the whole thing is just gonna come out to whatever's not spent goes into the reserves.
Yeah, I know, but my question again is, we set a budget last year, right?
Uh-huh.
And each account had a budget number. So the only reason I would move monies into any account would be that if I knew I was going to be overspent and I needed the funding. Not because, oh, we have, how much? $224,000 to spread now.
Yeah.
I'm just making that
It's-
observation.
no.
I'm seeing it month after month after month, and our budget keeps changing monthly.
And logically, what you're saying makes sense, but it's just, DAX has the way that their format has to be.
No,
And
that
so-
has reserves at the bottom too.
Yeah, but those reserves, if you look at the reserves, they're categorized, you got future capital outlay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the one number we could beef up. And then it's like a shell game. Then you could have the state saying, well, right away, like today, we'd have 224,000 suddenly more in our future capital outlay budget. I'm not even sure if DAX would be good with us moving money in there for no reason.
Can we, it's not, no, I mean.
Well,
there-
actually, you could do that, but then we'd be waving a flag saying, now we've got 5,750,000 in future capital outlay. When that number starts getting big, then the state starts looking at you more.
Yeah, it's called you're making too much money.
Yeah, I mean, we, no,
I
no,
don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Sure.
like, the taxpayers won't have a problem with that. I mean, we're basically saying, we're gonna take 224,000 excess funds we made, and instead of putting it in a kitty to save for a rainy day, we're just gonna spend it. Or at least it looks like that. I'm not saying that we will, but it looks like that when you spread it across accounts.
I mean, the other thing we could do, and you would think, is, so the other categories down there are cash balance to be carried forward. DAX has a 20% of budget limit, so that number's kind of capped out. And then you've got sick and annual leave, and that's already a real number that's quantified. And then contingency is 11%, that's already tapped out. So the only place you could jam it, or don't want to use that word, put it, place it, is future capital outlay. And then eventually, when that number gets so big, DAX in the past, before we built this facility, did start asking questions. Do you guys have plans for that money? So
I'd love for them to ask those questions, because we keep
Sure.
hiding the money, and that is not kosher either.
I think next year is going to be the deciding year, because what's going to happen is we're going to have reserves, and then we're going to see what, you got SIT, and then you've got the DVEC. We're going to see what is the real cost to operate that thing. And then that's going to dig in. Suddenly, we're going to have to be dipping into this contingency money and throwing money in there. So once we understand what that's going to cost to run for a good solid year, then I think we could probably look at reducing the millage, and that'd be Dr. Shoes. and
We're
your-
talking something else now.
Yeah, well,
I'm just
it's
talking
all
about
linked.
the-
It's all a big
I'm
puzzle.
just talking about the allocations. I honestly, I
Yeah.
think it gives the bad impression to taxpayers that we basically increased our revenues by 224,000. And then we said, oh, but by the way, we're gonna put it into expending accounts.
You're right. Or the other thing is beef up future capital outlay,
Yes.
which looks better, having the money just sitting in a big capital outlay account, or, yeah, it's a,
No, right now it looks like we make it and we spend it.
yeah, that's, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people run their household that way, but
My suggestion, Scott, we can check with the Department of Agriculture. So I know they request how much your revenue income, you have the budget to spend. But doesn't mean that we have to spend. The money could go into reserve, could go into future capital line. Better than you separate the personnel and the training, maybe much easier. But we check with the Department
Sure.
of Agriculture, make sure they accept our report.
I could talk to somebody.
Yeah, talking to Mark.
They've had so much turnover in the finance department there that there was one year I went to the workshop, and there must have been 30 districts. And when we were talking about all this report and where you put money, and the head person asked me if I had some ideas on what to do. And I was like, I think they would be telling me, but they thought that I was like the qualified guy to give DAX ideas on how to do it. So I'm not sure there's a qualified person even there. I think if I will look into that, though.
yeah, I mean, it just gives a bad impression.
Okay.
Now we need a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Yes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to send this budget amendment to DAX.
Second.
And can you get a review for us for next month?
I'm sorry,
Can you get
excuse me?
A determination for us?
Sure, yeah, I'll definitely call about that.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Hannah.
Thank you.
Dr. Shu?
Thank you, yeah.
Yes.
June 28th, around 4 p.m., we received the certification of taxable value. The value compared with the last year increased. It's then because more construction, more people pay tax. Then July 1st, we have a financial committee meeting, and other chairperson and Ms. Gardner joined the meeting, or the meeting. We look at the calculation, or based on our budget, draft the proposed budget. Proposed budget, we need about everything around the 2.2 million. 9.2 million. Then we last year budget use medical rate 0.18, exactly match 9.2 million. By the end of September, we will carry around the $6 to $7 million reserve. So we look at the reduced medical rate from 0.18 to 0.17. So we will collect 8.7 million. Then plus interest in everything, we will a little bit much over our proposed budget, around 9.4 million. So budget for 9.2 million. So everything include the most interesting grant, possible grant. So they collect about 9.4 million. So that's the reason I suggested to and the financial committee discussion, recommended board approval 0.17 per mil for financial year 2024 to 2025. It's reduce 0.1. That's a tentative medical rate. Then we have another 2.5 months, more than 2.5 months, and still discussion about the budget and the medical rate. So, but the deadline is July 15. We have to submit to work plan budget to the docs based on 0.117, so that then we can have more time discussion. In August, usually first week of August, all residents receive tax proposed bill. So with September, we have 2 times public hearing. September 12, 5:30, we have first public hearing about the medical rate. So after counting said later to all taxpayers, prior then, this is the mosquito control proposed medical rate and the hearing date and the location, time. So that if people receive this, they have to come here, join a meeting, and talking, calling. Then finally, the public hearing is September 26th, 5:30. That's the final hearing, public hearing. Then board make a final decision. So that's the current situation. I would like to recommend board and approve 0.17 for tentative medical rate. Then if you want to reduce, and September you can reduce, but only way can reduce, but cannot up. If you up, you have to writing all taxpayers one by one, either say you increase. Yeah.
Commissioner Becker?
So I just wanted to kind of piggyback just for everyone's, so we all know, but just for the public as well. So this, if we approve the 0.1700, that means that we could still lower it or have that discussion if we want to lower it more. We just can't ever raise it after that. So this isn't necessarily the final tax millage rate, but that's the highest we're willing to go or whatever.
Okay. I have a question.
Commissioner
So
Briggs?
I appreciate your rollback to 1.17, but if we were really doing a rollback, we would be doing 0.16. Because right now, the taxable base went up 3.8 billion for the county. Our revenues, even at 0.17, are over $500,000, almost 600,000 more than we brought in last year.
Correct.
That is not reducing taxes for taxpayers. That is basically pretending to reduce taxes, but really getting more money. So I appreciate that we can take it down, but you said 9.2 million expenses this year. We budgeted for expenses 8.8 million. We have another 1.5 million now in capital next year. I don't even know what that's for.
That's we increase the position.
Capital?
Yes, no, not capital, question.
There's 1.5 million in capital outlays for next year in the budget.
Give
And
you
I don't know what we're
in
spending it.
front here, here, give you in the sheet. It should be on your, in
Oh,
the,
it was under
Spreadsheet.
the agenda.
Okay,
another.
okay.
on the agenda to have a special sheet in there. She should have it.
Oh,
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. So the capital outline with mostly our software for software phone application and the mapping, that's needed $200,000 up that we budget, probably a little less, maybe a little over, we don't know. Based on last time, almost over 10 years we used the program. So the drainage project there, we keep this one because after rain, our area really needed project, keep this one. Rest the others, most of the equipment here, and we need to update. Some of the machines are very old, some is vehicle. So we have a budget, some vehicles, the 2003 vehicles so far. Mileage low, but a year too long. Almost 20 years vehicle, we need to gradually update.
Okay, so back to my original question, we have money in reserves if this is needed to pay for it. I honestly, to tell a citizen that we're rolling your tax, the millage rate back to 0.17, and we're giving you a reduction, we're not giving them a reduction, we're actually making more money than we did last year, just because the taxable base went up. So if we wanted to be fair with citizens, we would start with the rollback number, which is 0.1667, and that's still higher. We still get more revenue from taxes than we were. But I honestly, 0.16 is where I would start the discussion. Because that keeps us flat with last year's revenue budget.
who else has comments about this, I'm sure?
We can always change that, but the .17 is the highest. If
Right.
we start with that,
That's our starting.
then, I mean, to me, I would start with that, and we can reduce it, you know, and we still have a
Between now and
chance to reduce
September,
it.
right.
When is
Right.
the final submission? When is the?
September, yeah, the end of
September.
Yeah, there's
We
two
We have to have
meetings in
two
September.
public hearings. This is we will not as a district, it's like a promise to taxpayers that we will not
Exceed.
charge more than 0.17. And now we have the rest of
But
the
we
months
can
to
lower.
decide.
But we're not gonna charge more than 0.17, but we are charging them more money. We're charging them $500,000, almost $600,000 more than we did last year.
No, we're
We have a
getting,
lot-
we're
because
just
we have a
getting
larger
more
tax
because there's more
base.
people.
Yeah, they're paying
But-
more. Because your taxable base went up. So you're applying a smaller number to a higher base, so they're still paying more. That's how the numbers work.
Okay.
They're paying more because the taxable base went up. So if my house went up, let's argue $500,000 in valuation, taxable valuation, I'm paying 0.17 on that increase. Even though you said you rolled back, you're not keeping me neutral, basically. Do you understand? You're not keeping me flat. You just, it looks like you gave me a tax decrease, but you in essence did not do that.
Well, I think that's a good point, but that's something that we would do, like
We can
once we
sit
have
and
the
discuss
hearings.
and potentially reduce it.
Right.
Yeah.
We can roll it back.
But we can't go and then something happens in the next month, there's another COVID, and then we go, oh, we need to raise it back to 0.17, then we can't. So, I'll make a motion to accept the 0.1700 millage rate for our tentative rate for the DAX deadline on July 15th, and then we'll remind all of the public that the first hearing will be September 12th, and then that's when we can start talking about reducing it and how far we should reduce it.
Right. Do we have a second?
I'm sorry,
Is it,
one more time?
We have a second on that
do we have,
motion.
she made a motion
I
to
did, I'm
approve
sorry,
the-
she asked me a question, so I didn't
Yeah.
hear what the motion was. Can you repeat the?
To approve the 1.7 at this point.
0.1700?
1.7, yes,
Okay, I'll second that motion then.
okay. All in favor? Opposed? Commissioner Gleason opposed? Okay. Certainly, Mr. Howell.
Been watching y'all, I'm Gary Howell, 170 Harvest Lane. Been watching y'all a little bit. This commissioner's talking to this one. I don't think we're supposed to do that.
She asked me a question
I-
about the
hold on,
Dodge
hold on.
Sport.
I don't think the other commissioner's supposed to talk without us knowing. We're at a public meeting. Do you know what she said? I do not. I do not. Do you know what she said?
Yep.
You do not. Okay? And not last meeting, but the meeting before, you got an attorney sitting up there. She's got one of vanilla folders and she's talking to you. That's the old coach football game thing. Y'all are out of sunshine law. That's twice that I've seen this. You better get your book out and go to reading.
Thank you.
I hope that's on video.
It is.
All right. All right. Dr. Shu?
Thank you. On the new business, number 2, discussion approve tax work plan budget. Their deadline is July 15, so that we, based on June board meeting discussion about the draft budget, we reduce and the committee meeting, we reduce submission, and we transfer to Department of Agriculture the format. Every year they have format, very limited deadline, we have to follow in there. And give the submit this. But this is for docs, Department of Agriculture, just to know what's going on, basic information. If anything change in future, that depend on our certified budget. September 30 is the deadline. Finally, depending on your military rate, depending on your actually the budget. Also, any change, that's we have a budget amendment. So you need to decrease, increase anything. They have a docs has a basic line and statistic collect information from each program. So I would like to recommend board and approve the docs work plan budget. So this is the format request. Then we do have 2.5 months still work on budget. That is not permitted until September 26th. Then related to our military rate, finally military rate. If you're going to reduce budget, have to some kind of cutting, have some kind of limitation, match our revenue.
I don't know.
Commissioner
So
Butcher?
all these numbers that we're sending are based on the current budget book that we have
Yes.
planned for?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I didn't get to the next week.
Gary Howell, I hate to go back, but did y'all vote just a few minutes ago? I heard a first and a second, but I didn't see no vote.
Yes, we
Well, I didn't
voted.
see, did anybody see a vote?
Yes,
I'm gonna look at the record. I
A
just
vote
didn't
on,
see a vote.
maybe
I
We
missed-
voted, we
A vote on-
voted, yeah.
a vote on the what? I've lost this track. It's on the,
We had
millage.
four and one
Four.
opposed.
it's 4-1.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I thought it was a cell phone.
okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the tentative detailed work plan budget that we're going to send to DAX by the 15th. That goes along with our tentative millage rate. And again, these numbers can be lowered but not higher.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Brandhorst, all in favor?
I can't, because I already voted no on the millage, so.
Okay,
You call for a vote.
yeah, I did.
Did you get the vote? It's 4-1.
All right. Dr. Shu?
It's number 3, auditor
I did, because I voted no on the millage, so.
renew later,
Shu.
auditor renew later the pour over. Yeah, we, after last year, for the conduct the RFP request for proposal, the board member or acting auditor community. So they selected our Julia and for last year. So based on the contract agreement, every year she needed to submit a renew letter because the price, everything, look at it, and it change. The price seems the same with last year, her proposal around $9,000 something for the auditor for this year. Oh, no, for last year, fiscal 23 and to 24, end of September. So they should be started August, she will be here and deal with the physical inventory and many other issues and work with Scott, our CFO, and the staff and to inspection and checking and then give her report and next year. Need to take about a few months to do the work. You need to prepare, take time. Usually this renew rate is 1 year, so we always under consent agenda. So now the commission is pull over. Do you have any question? Can we answer you?
Does anyone have questions?
On the director's report?
No, you moved
Oh, the-
our
oh,
our
the-
audit.
Auditor.
Yeah, on the audit.
Auditor.
Forgot where we were. There's two things that are still not resolved with the auditor. When we met in May, she made a statement in response to a question I asked, that I said if we were to show evidence that the procurement policy was not followed in the spending on the education center, would she have to amend the audit report? Her answer to me in that meeting was yes. A group of us met, Dr. Shu, Dr. Pauls, myself, the attorney, two attorneys, and Ms. Klein. And in that meeting, she said that she misspoke. I asked for a letter from Ms. Klein correcting the record that would go to all commissioners, letting them know that the statement that she had made in the May meeting was factually incorrect. I still have not seen that letter unless somebody else got it and I missed it. That is important for us to have because we have it in public record, our auditor telling us that if we did not follow procurement policies for the education center, that she would have to amend the audit report. In the meeting we had, that's why we ended up with the resolution we did to make sure that we were following procurement policies. And she said that she misspoke. So where is the letter from Ms. Klein? That's number one. Anybody have an answer to that? Do we have one? Did we get one? I'm
Does
trying
she
to
say
protect-
if it's in email or if it's,
She was gonna
just
email,
said letter?
you
I
were,
don't know.
she was supposed
I
to
haven't
send us
gotten
an email. She was supposed to send an email to all board members and the district for our records, correcting the record.
Yeah, Scott will check it tomorrow and send a late email, ask her what's going on.
Were there minutes taken?
Yeah, Dr. Pauls took it. This is the problem I'm having, because literally, there's a video out there where she's stating,
She said to people later, yeah. Something.
and then she said in that meeting, I will send a letter, but I am busy through what, I guess.
So she's followed up with some emails, so we have the email chain with that, but she had some emergency,
response.
and I think probably we just need to follow up with her, because that emergency could have, taken away from her remembering that, so that's on us, we can follow up. But she did send us a couple of emails making statements, but no official letter.
Yeah, we need an official letter for the record.
Okay.
I mean, we submitted an audit report to the state, and I don't want them coming back, if they ever did an audit of us and found some deficiency, that we're the ones that are stuck holding that bag. Okay, then the other question, and it'll be fast one, on the audit procedure compliance, it's on page 4. Under audit procedures compliance, the last sentence. Is everybody there?
Hold on.
Well, they're not allowed to give the opinion. Is that what you're talking about?
Not an opinion, but FDAC does say that the audit will include an opinion on overall compliance, because otherwise, I don't even know what you're providing an opinion on. And I went and looked at the FDAC rules. So she basically is auditing the statements. She doesn't know whether we're complying with procurement policies, and she's going to render a clean opinion. How does that even work in any, I don't even care if it's government county, I can give you anything, and then you'll say, yeah, that looks good to me.
Mr. Hannah, do you want
FDAX actually has the Single Audit Act, which is a separate guidelines. This is the state of Florida Auditor General guidelines that she's following. They're separate. So,
If I send you the language that actually says that she has to render an opinion on compliance?
this is generally accepted auditing standards for the state of Florida. And that's
I
what
understand
the
that.
audit's based on. It's the state of Florida law. FDAX has their own set of auditing
No, I'm saying,
guidelines.
the state of Florida, if I send you the language, which actually says that the opinion must include
Well,
that there are no major deficiencies.
this is boilerplate language as far as the generally accepted auditing standards. She takes this excerpt from GAS, they call it GAS, Generally
know.
Accepted Auditing Standards, and it's tailored to the state of Florida. So this is pretty much boilerplate language that's in here.
What I'm asking you, if I showed you the language in GAS, which says that the auditor will render an opinion that everything was done in compliance with our policies and procedures. I mean, this whole thing with the letter was because of the procedures.
As an attorney, I don't think I'd be qualified to critique that, as
As an
Mr.
attorney?
Slavin could
As an
probably
attorney?
agree to, right?
I'm not asking you in attorney language, I'm asking you
Okay.
in accounting language. You're CPA, right?
Yes.
It does say, when you audit books, you make sure that also in compliance with the policies. Otherwise, the meeting that we attended where I'm asking for the letter would have been for naught.
As
Because
far,
she's basically telling me that she wasn't auditing for compliance, and then the meeting that we had in May, she said, well, if you showed me that it's not in compliance, then I would have to amend my report. So we're talking out of both sides of our mouths here, and I need to make sure that we're in compliance with GAS. I wish they didn't call it gas.
I would say we are,
with you.
because this is boilerplate language, and actually, they continually update these rules, like, I mean, it could be every 3 months, there could be a new update, which she keeps apprised of all those updates.
I'm not saying I don't trust, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
tell you, I just read something in gas,
Okay,
which contradicts this language in what she's gonna audit.
but she might have something even more up to date than what you just read, so I'm not sure. I
So I
mean,
don't
as
know
far
about
as me
this
making,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there because I think there is an issue, and then let this board decide what they're gonna do.
I would email her directly. Do you talk to her?
I've emailed her several times. She
Okay.
doesn't respond to my email, so.
Okay.
Yeah, my suggestion, probably ask her come in next board meeting, explain if board consensus, yeah.
I understand everybody's.
Also, we need to prove it, so she can start work August, time issue. And she definitely need to explain the two issues. One, the letter was confusing, another one about the language, what's her meaning. It's hard to explain this, yeah. She knew that.
And I understand everybody's comfortable with Ms. Klein. My issue is not Ms. Klein or the firm, my issue is to make sure that we are in compliance with, when they give us an audit opinion, that audit opinion includes everything they're supposed to review.
There's a new database that we have to remit to, and they're really, everything's really specific now. The audit report used to go, and it was real easy to submit everything. Now, they look at it with a fine-tooth comb. In fact, they've contacted me for a couple little numbers that I needed to adjust, and so they're looking at these audits pretty carefully to make sure we're in compliance.
Yeah, but we have an auditor giving us clean opinions, and I'm not sure if she's auditing what the full audit
Yeah.
scope is supposed to be. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for like,
I
just a
mean,
chance confirmation as to what are her duties.
audits are always supposed to be, it's reasonable assurance, it's never 100%
No, I know that.
assurance, it's reasonable
Forget I was
assurance.
an accountant.
So, all right, I'm trying to think, where did we leave off? So you've, that thing, the
We need the
opinion,
letter,
you have a letter and you want to email
and
it?
I need somebody to confirm this language, that she's only auditing the financials, she's not doing any opinion as to whether we're abiding by our own policies, which to me, that sounds a little,
Our own financial policies or
No, that-
every policy we
So
have?
if you recall back in May, we've had this very painful discussion about, and I don't even want to even remember it,
Yes.
about whether we were following procurement policies when we were spending money. And her response to me was, well, I didn't even look at that because I assumed that you guys had contracts with everybody. And so when I told her, if I can prove that we don't have contracts with everybody, would you have to amend this audit report? Her answer out of her mouth was yes. So that means that she should amend it. She would have looked at, she should have, she made an assumption. But first of all, auditors never make an assumption. You know that. Like, you
But
don't
when we
assume
had the
anything.
Baltimore audit, wouldn't they have
But the
found that?
Baltimore audit did not do what, that was the biggest waste of taxpayer dollars that I've ever seen in my life.
That's
I mean, they didn't, they basically,
Monday.
Baltimore took whatever we gave them and thank God we're honest group, and then said, okay, you guys are doing good. That's all they did. They never went and they didn't do a forensic audit, they didn't do an operational audit, they just took whatever we gave them. And the state spent, I don't even know how many millions of dollars on that. So I just need language to
But-
make sure, because what I read on the
Sure.
website, not a dated one, a current one, it says that she needs to provide an opinion on that we're in compliance.
That letter you're talking about, do you want to scan it and email it and?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay,
It's right on the
send,
website. It's under the,
just so I know which,
whatever
yeah,
whatever it's for the Auditor General or whatever their title is on their website and what's
Okay.
required for audits.
but if you have it specifically
Yeah,
and
I
you
can-
can
I-
send
yeah.
it, do you want to send it to myself, Dr. Shu,
I'll
and,
send it to both you guys and the board as a copy.
and then we'll forward it to the auditor, and then we're going to ask her if that
Because that might be
coincides.
why our auditor fees are so cheap.
Um,
Because that's not, that means why our auditor fees are so cheap. We're not checking everything.
So we're going to make sure it coincides and complies with page 4 on her audit engagement letter,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
All right.
Can we do that, can I get that to
I
her
can
by
get
Monday?
it.
'Cause-
Yeah, I can get it to you by Monday.
Okay, so I'll look Monday, and then we'll touch base with her.
Okay, so we still need to approve.
Thank you.
The,
Until I get a letter.
renewal letter.
I think you have a question.
Mr. Slavin?
New audit.
Ed Slavin, box 3084, edslavin.com. I think we might need a new auditor. If she was refusing to look at our procurement policies and saying that's beyond the scope of her duties, why would we ever want to give her a contract again? How long has she been the auditor?
Hearsay.
I'm sorry, please don't
This is
interrupt.
all
I'm-
hearsay.
I'm actually speaking
He's out
right
of
now.
order. He is out of order.
He's out of order. Could we please have a discussion about the auditor, how long she's had the contract? The standard of care, as people like Sherman Gary Snodgrass, the former mayor of St. Augustine Beach, will tell you, he was in corporate America. He was an executive with a big company, Exelon, that had like 19 nuclear power plants in Illinois and Philadelphia. You change auditors every 3 to 5 years, right? When was the last time we changed auditors?
Last year.
Last year?
No, we
She's
signed a
the-
contract last year. She's been-
Well, she's the same auditor,
No, a
but we
contract
did
is not
our,
We
changing
put it out to
auditor.
bid last year.
Please.
Correct.
We've had her, no, she's
We
been the
put
same
out an
auditor
But we
for
re-
how long?
We did an RFP last year.
Yes, we
Yes,
put it
and we
out
kept
and,
her.
yeah.
So how long has she been, I think the question was, how long has she been our auditor?
Since 2010,
That's too long.
Commissioner Sonderman, those recommended.
How long?
That's too long.
Yeah,
14 years?
every 5 year we
14 years, the same
doing
auditor?
RFP, request for proposal, then selection. Last year we RFP again, and 5 requested, but only 2 submit. So the board they made a decision, pick up her, renew with her.
It's 4-1 vote.
Oh, Lord.
Right. It was a 4-1 vote.
There are only 2 really submitted. One is asked 1,300, some little more. One is 9,000. Also, she has experience working with the frog mosquito control auditor, and it's different. Yeah.
I think the question is not about, if I may, whether she's an honest person or about, it's should a district be solely dependent on one individual for that long? And here there's 2 incidents that happened in the last month and a half at this point. One is a letter that should have been very easy to write, has still not materialized. And by the way, Scott, that question about this part of the contract, I asked it last year. And I was supposed to get a response, and she never responded, because I have a copy of the email that I sent her. So this is 2nd year in a row, I'm asking the same question and not getting an answer. So you're correct, sir. And most companies, they don't keep auditors that long.
Right. I agree. So when would it be in order for?
Arthur Anderson should be an example for everybody.
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree.
Who is now, they changed their name to Censure to protect the innocent. So,
Amen. Well, I think we need to consider, when is her contract up?
well, they're renewing it right now.
We're renewing it right now?
Annual review.
Yes, and
Please
now-
don't-
And it was in the consent agenda, which.
Oh, Lordy, could we please reconsider that, and have her come and speak
I
to
think
her?
she should come and speak.
I think she should come and speak, and
Yeah, as soon
don't,
as they office, they ask for her coming.
We can do that.
please cancel the renewal and reverse the consent agenda item. I just, that's
No, it's
unconscionable.
no longer in the consent, it actually got pulled.
Oh, it is pulled.
It is
Yeah,
pulled,
it's
that's
in
why
new
we're,
business.
that's
So you're
why
voting
we're
on it now.
discussing it. We weren't gonna discuss it, so we're discussing it. So,
What's that?
we weren't gonna discuss it because it was put under the consent agenda
Oh,
and we pulled it, so I pulled it.
Thank you for pulling it. You're doing a good job.
She needs to come.
She needs to come, and she doesn't need another contract until she resolves these
Yeah.
issues. We have,
all right.
on the issue with the helicopter, I guess it was was it January 9th, 1992 policy, the Mosquito Control Board on purchasing? And we had an attorney at one time, his name was Jeffrey Dobson. And 2 of our commissioners back in 2006, 2007 timeframe, Commissioner Sunderman and Commissioner Moeller, had a very simple question for the lawyer. Under our 1992 purchasing policy, is it illegal to have a no-bid contract for a helicopter? Jeffrey Dobson, the attorney, would never answer the question. Another law firm was hired after he quit. They wouldn't answer the question. Finally, a 3rd law firm was hired, and they answered the question and said, no, it's an illegal contract. And that's why the mosquito control helicopter, we had already paid a deposit for $1.8 million contract with no competitive bidding. So this lady who's our auditor, if she's not going to look at procurement, I'm not going to look too favorably at rehiring her. Let's cancel her contract, rebid the contract, and find somebody who will do the job as written. Otherwise, it looks like she's telling you what she thinks you want to hear, or that some of y'all want to hear.
Thank you, Mr. Slavin.
Like my mama would say, save your money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's ask Ms. Klein to be at our next board meeting. Can we do that?
And
Okay,
can we
okay.
table this renewal?
Yeah, ask for the next meeting.
Yes, and we'll table the renewal and
Answer
until we,
question.
yes.
So you want to table this, or you need a vote to table?
Do we need a vote to table it?
You do.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make a motion that we table it.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
So
Opposed?
this was to give her the contract
Right, this
for
was a
a year,
renewal
or this is the contract for one audit?
For this
For
coming,
for the year.
coming year.
so a full year.
1 year audit. Year by year.
And if we wait a month to do that, is that gonna put pressure on the team during hurricane season. That's what
Yeah,
I'm concerned about.
next month, we'll both have to make a decision. Because we started late August.
I mean, honestly, that shouldn't be our concern. Our number one concern is financial oversight of this district. And-
Yeah, let's,
Well, not just financial, it's the
let's,
entire issue. There's lots of things.
Scott
that
and
go
then Monday check with her, maybe she can send an email, quickly answer the question. That would be, forward everybody knew what's going on.
No, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna object here a second. No auditor, no attorney working for this district should assume that their contract, first of all, is gonna get renewed automatically under a consent agenda. That is totally unacceptable.
Ms.
And that
My-
this board and this district would allow that is unconscionable. So that's my statement on that.
Ms. Myers, do you have comments on this?
I don't. The purpose of a consent agenda is for things that are routine, and what I am gathering is that these professional contracts should not be considered so routine as to go on the consent agenda.
Okay,
You're correct.
agreed. All right, so right now there's a proposal to have her come in next month and address these issues. All right, do we have a second?
Did I forgot what.
I lost track.
I seconded.
Kind of lost track.
Okay, and all in favor?
To table it?
To
Or
table
pass
it, to
Yes.
table and bring her back.
And bring her in next month. And anyone opposed?
She doesn't think.
Are you in favor too?
Yeah, I had my,
It's unanimous.
I had my,
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Report. Thank you, yeah.
Dr.
So
Shi-
far, we have 2 center chicken tested positive for East equine encephalitis. That mosquito population in some area increased because of rainfall last few days, last couple of weeks. So now it's the rain season. So also our 2 inter finish last month. It's 1 college inter will be finished next week. So 1 visitor scientist finished last month, left. Also, the district coordinator, we continue doing training high school inter, should be finished end of this month or first week of August, school back. So that also we started testing adult cells, mosquito adult cells for selection. So last night we have a bunch of people employee, and July 2nd we tested. We need 1 more test, make comparison after RFP pesticide company. We selected 3 kind of products. I need a evaluation, make a comparison. And finally, we will make a recommendation to board which one we should be purchased, the adult site. That's basically the information. So also we recently we hold the planning committee meeting, and that's Monday. So we'll be listed for next board meeting agenda for commissioner and the planning committee report. Also next week we plan to operation committee. Yeah, also tonight we have air supply for southwest area, so that 300-400 mosquito per night we trap collect Monday, so we have to take some action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Rudy, can I ask a question?
Sure.
When are those sinks coming in?
You think?
The
They're
sinks
supposed to be here
for-
Monday,
Monday? Okay.
It says Monday.
I'm like, oh, it's still on the
I know.
but
arriving list.
We're hoping.
fingers crossed.
We're hoping, yeah.
'Cause we
Ms.
cannot-
Put
Myers?
those sinks in your prayers that we can
But you
get them.
can operationalize it without it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
no water, another
Right.
connection.
Ms. Myers, do you have a report?
I do not have a report.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner comment, Ms. LeBon?
I just want to thank the employees for all their hard work.
Ms. Brandhorst?
I'm just happy to be here.
All right. I'll second that. Commissioner Gleason.
Two things. Sorry. I shouldn't have put this in my mouth.
I waited.
Thank you for letting me bring my grandkids last week. They really did enjoy it. So, they opened up, it was a Tuesday, and they opened up, and then Scott got me to work too. Thank God, Scott. So I want to thank everybody for that. The kids really enjoyed it. I ran into the chair of the Municipal Service District for Ponte Vedra yesterday, and they were wondering if either you or Rudy, one of you, Dr. Paul, so Rudy would speak to their board, because they have a lot of ponds. They're not in an HOA. And the chair of that board believes they need to put bubblers in the ponds, but he's getting the kind of a resistance, and so he felt like if somebody with knowledge could come in and talk to the board as a whole and explain, how the bubblers work, what they would do, and just mosquito control in general, that would help get them over the hump of investing. I think they said that they're also going to go apply for some sort of grant because it's a pretty big district in terms of what it covers. So I said I would bring that back, and I'll get you, whoever wants to contact, I can contact and arrange it to you guys.
Yeah, just give our information and contact information, we'll schedule.
Yeah,
Visit.
I don't know what the next board meeting is, but it's apparently a pretty serious issue with them right now.
I can always give them my PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah, that's big, but it might be also because they're trying to get education through the community too, what they could do to prevent reduce mosquito sourcing. I gave them some ideas, but you guys are special at it. That's all.
All right. Commissioner Becker.
For the 2 chickens, Dr. Shu, were those in the same area?
And not
Different areas, and they both had it?
yes,
That's kind of scary.
Same good thing. But only one state Department Health confirmed, other ones still went for the confirm.
Did Dr. Pepper confirm it?
Yeah, we tested positive.
Okay.
I said we have to confirm it by Department Health, Tampa Laboratory.
So
Why they said
maybe
that?
in those 2 areas, we need to send our
That's
education
almost
team over?
2-3 weeks. Yeah, we have to do some work,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I traveled to David Park and last week, and we checked the area already. It's still very dry.
Yeah.
Where's the rain?
I don't know where
Where's
they're
it
coming
coming from?
It rained, that was there. Did
Yeah.
you say from 10?
Yeah.
Is it?
Behind we have 1 chicken side, behind the 5 rescue, 5 bags behind there. That's what's
Yeah.
hard to find the water. Where it's coming from? Maybe from Southampton, that is some kind of standard water. That vector definitely needed fresh water, deep water. It is standard water for a long time, not only short time, not like other species.
I also, for anyone that doesn't have it, this is our mosquito magazine, when we meet, but it's Salt Lake City's 100-year anniversary, and we work very closely with them. It's a very excellent district, and some our former doctor is over there now, so congrats to them. And I wanted to see, a couple months back, I had asked if somebody could find how much the tire machine shredder is. I know we looked at it years back, and it was very expensive a long time ago, but I think we should look at that before we make the final budget, because that was the number one thing that the governor and state report said, that they wanted a way for us to take care of tires. So maybe we can get the machine and shred it, and then we can donate the tires to the schools, because they use that as mulch.
Playground.
Yeah, and then it's a lot safer for the kids, so maybe we can do something with the school board, but just to get an idea of what we're talking. If we're talking about millions of dollars, then it's probably,
So the county doesn't do tires?
Continue with that. Last week discussed with the Department of Solid Waste that on the 214, they have
Yeah.
the landfill. We knew the director long-time cooperation about the use tag collection and treatment. We have to deal with that. But we're meeting with them to figure out what's happening.
okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could have mosquito days that we sponsor and we could pay for the tire removal or I don't know,
Yeah, we
something.
do under 10, we pick up. Over 10, they have to call the department with the collection.
Yeah.
So they collect, they kind of pick up.
Okay.
Under 10, because we prevent the mosquito. If the pair tire 100 and 2013, we are not a tire collection agency. Counting the pay tax they are collected. Also interesting, we collect tire. We give to the county in landfill. We have to pay for
Yeah.
$3.75 per tire currently. So that we have to pay for that. We have a budget for this. But for our purpose, for salt reduction, so we would like to collect, but not to collect so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the under 10. I remember we have some kind of policy for,
Yeah.
for maybe,
I remember it was talked about a long
Yeah,
time
that's
ago,
something.
but I'd like to see an updated number
Yeah.
and see if it's something.
I mean,
If it's not too bad, then it'd be good for us.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, the meeting is adjourned.